and industry reports for our market, for additive manufacturing market. We want to talk about a little bit about, as you guys already know, metal 3D printing, and my focus for this presentation is the standards. I started to work in additive manufacturing because of this part. A customer challenged me with that. At that time, I didn't know how to make it. And then in 2012, I started to research how this is made. And finally, we ended up supplying equipment to the Brazilian market. Using standards, it's a very, very useful procedure. I think that most of the markets that make implants should use standards from the beginning. And to use standards from the beginning helps in the whole workflow. So if you pay attention, I don't want to be very extensive on what is already done on standards. My idea is more to provocate the users and the makers and the implant makers to use more standards. And actually it helps not even to be ready when the regulation comes, but also help to organize and to use a workflow in the work. So you do have a lot of standards that can be using on the material selection, can be used on design, can be used on the process itself, and can be used on the quality control of what you make, and even on the administration and the quality management. If you get the 52920, it's requirements for industrial additive manufacturing sites. It's a very good standards that can be used during the management, like a complementation of 13485 to help the implant makers to be more close to the quality management and the site itself, everything that's needed, all the requirements that you need to have in place to make to have the best practice while making standards. So what I want to show today, as requested we discussed it when preparing this was what is new in standards about the implant making. So I collected 3 standards that are being developed or reworked in this area. The first one, it's the very known ASTM F3001. It's the titanium 64 known by grade 23, the Eli, the extra low interstitial. What is this being? There is many things that are being discussed on this standard, changes, updating, and things like that. Something that had been very interesting. It's the feedstock, because right now the standard defines the final material component. So the standard should be applied and used as a reference for the material in the final product. In the case here would be the implant itself. But what about the feedstock? Should we have a standard for the feedstock? Should the feedstock be fixed? Yes, no. Should we have chemical composition for the feedstock? Most of people know that on powder bed fusion, we do have different process or different power source, like laser or EBM, Now we do have binder jetting for other cases. This standard itself is for powder bed fusion, but should we have specifications for the material? It will change. We know that the material will change during the process. So must we have different standards for each process? So there is a discussion that is happening right now in the revision of the F3001, the same way to 2924. Actually, they are sister standards or brother standards, twin standards. So should this happen? Should we standardize the feedstock? So I wanted to bring this up for everybody knows that this is we are paying attention. We know that the market have the discussion. This is a long-term discussion in the market about the feedstock for powder bed fusion. And ASTM, it is discussing that inside the material committee. The second standards I want to highlight, it's a brand new standards development, just started. Actually, the first draft document had been submitted just a few weeks ago. That's guidance to relate in between additive manufacturing and implant making. So if you are implant making and you are using additive manufacturing to make this implant, what you should pay attention on the design, on the process itself, on the risk management, everything that needs some attention because of additive manufacturing. Everything needs to be checked the same way. Everything, the regulatory and the quality control should be made. But if you are using additive manufacturing, there is some points that you need to know before. There is things that you need to pay attention. Will additive manufacturing be different or not from the actual process? So that is the intent of this new standards. This is being developed inside the TC 150 and the ASTM F04. So it is the implants for surgery. That's not be that this standard. It's not additive manufacturing committee standard. It is the medical standard that's taking care of this. But additive manufacturing committee, it's together through a liaison on this committee discussing this. It's a very important subject, and also it's a subject that it's being taken care about a lot of people on the medical side and also in the additive manufacturing or manufacturing side. So that's the second. And the third one I want to pay attention to. It's a new development also being held by ASTM F42. It's the additive manufacturing committee, but this committee, it's taking paying attention about the process, validation process of additive manufacturing powder bed fusion applied to medical devices. So means that what else? It's a complementation standard. What else needs to be checked and validated specifically for medical process on additive manufacturing powder bed fusion? Means that we already have a standard for this. It's the F3434 and 52930 on ISO name that had been developed together by the two bodies. But what else? In case we are doing a medical device, also needs to be validated in the process. So if we need to validate a little bit more things, check more things, or check things, need things a little different, from the general industrial standards will be included on these standards. So the medical market has this extra document to be as a support for the validation. We know that medical validation needs to go a little bit further because the regulation and the regulators are not necessarily the same as the general industry validation. So this had been development should have a first or second document. Actually, the first document is in the internal document. The second document that goes to the more wide inside the ASTM and ISO committees should be issued before the end of the year. Anyone that needs information about this, we can help. Anyone that wants to participate on the discussions and the making of these documents, I can help too. Please contact us. Actually, it's what I am inside my time. So that's what I wanted to show to you. And my idea with this, it's to inform the market that things are being developed and everybody can participate if they want. And that is all these documents that support our work while in doing and while in making medical devices and with metal 3D printing. With this said, I show my contacts. Whatever people wants to talk to me and needs information about this, it's here. And I give the word back to and the sharing power to Tuan. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Fabio. I appreciate the update. It's exciting to see more organizations getting involved with standards. It's a good sign showing that this acceptance of metal 3D printing implants and devices is slowly maturing. So thanks for the presentation with the focus on standards development. Our next panelist, Kuntai, do you want to go next?
Yes, thank you, Tuan. So I'm sharing my slides. Could you please confirm if I'm on the presentation mode?
Not yet.
I think you have to change the setting to make sure that we're not seeing your notes because we're seeing both slides.
How is that now?
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. So hello, everyone. So good evening and good morning for anyone who has participated in this event. So my name is Kuntai. I'm a co-founder of TrapTech. Actually, TrapTech is a spin-off company of our initial company, which is known as a BTech. So we are representing some companies. We are working in different fields, and we decided to spin off the company. And now we are working in the different verticals, medical, dental, audiology, and industry. And then our core competence is still metal additive manufacturing, actually. So that's why, today I'm trying to make this presentation with interesting pictures that I can share with you. So I have an engineering background, but we have a group of people who is working on to develop some implants, and actually we are working the three main application: the patient-specific implants, serial production implants, and veterinary products, which has lately became quite popular, and we are also investing some time on this. But what I can share at this point is we started with the patient-specific implants, and then we made some deeper research and then come to a conclusion to go through an hip cup project, a total total hip replacement implant. And last year we received the C certification, now close a new investment round and going through the serial production soon and hoping to be in the market in the early next year. So on the veterinary side, we are seeing there's a lot of gaps that needs to be filled with additive manufacturing because there are so many species, there are a lot of customization needs, and apparently additive manufacturing filling this gap with perfectly different variation of products or easy to access products or shorter lead time. And we know that additive manufacturing brings a lot of benefits in the medical field. Specifically, this ladder structures has a lot of opportunities, but still we're seeing a slow development or some failures in the market. And I would like to a little bit talk about why this is happening and why it's not so simple as it seems, because it's a totally new technology, an emerging technology. And we know that most of the medical players coming from conventional manufacturing technologies. And I think understanding this technology requires a little bit dedication, because we know that this is a paradigm shift. And we know that it's a proven technology, but in order to develop a product, you still need to have some know-how, for instance, about the materials, like process, like mechanics, and there's so many optimization in order to develop and validate a product that makes the things a little bit complicated for some companies. Specifically, when we come through the lattice structures, this is an interesting topic which we spend a lot of time on researching, the biological characterization of lattice structure, mechanical characterization of lattice structures, or different types of technologies, and we see really something interesting. Actually, we're seeing different results in different technologies in terms of biocompatibility, or mechanical properties, or even the surface quality, or biological results of some tests in ISO 10993. So I will show you some slides, which I still find very artistic, which I even use these pictures on my wallpaper of my phone. And actually, what we have done in this study is we use different types of technologies, for instance, EBM and SLM, and we also used different types of alloys and lattice structures. And in this SEM images, we have seen what's happening when we look closely to the pictures. And we also tested, and we actually received some samples from different manufacturers. The reason why we do this is basically, we know that the machines are coming with very standard parameters. On the other hand, based on your experience and based on your know-how, you can find these parameters to get the best result of metal